Hi guys, welcome to your class. This is Sunita and this is class 10 English chapter 2 part 7. So let us continue our chapter. In life, every man has twin obligation, means two obligation. Everybody has two obligations. So to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children. This is one kind of obligation, means to his family, to a man's family. And what is the other obligation? To his people, to his community, his country. So these are the two obligations. One is the person's family and the other is towards the country, the nation. So in a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. Here, Mr. Mandela wants to say that everybody is able to fulfill those obligations if the circumstances are some normal and everybody just try to fulfill these obligations at according to his capacity. But in a country like South Africa, why in a country like South Africa where a racial discrimination system had been installed, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth, because he was a black person and color, to fulfill both of those obligation. कि मेरे जैसा आदमी जो ब्लैक था और ऐसी कंट्री में पैदा हुआ था जहाँ पे कलर के बेसिस पे डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता था, it was completely impossible to fulfill both the obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. Now this is really this is an irony on the society, that in South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being, means a black person, if a black person wanted to live लाइक अ ह्यूमन बींग, मीन्स अगर एक इंसान जो इंसानियत की तरह इंसान की तरह रहना चाहता था, ही वॉज पनिश्ड, तो उसे क्या होता था, उसके साथ क्या किया जाता था, उसे पनिश किया जाता था, उसे अकेला छोड़ दिया जाता था. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was uneventually ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart. Now, अगर South Africa में ऐसा होता, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people, means either he could choose his people, his country, or he could choose his family, because automatically if he would choose the family, if he would choose the responsibility towards his people, it means and unavoidably, whether he wanted to do it or not, that didn't matter, but unintentionally actually it this responsibility towards its people robbed his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart. ये उसे मजबूर कर देते थे कि वो अपने घर से, अपने परिवार से दूर रहे, और दूर ही रहने के बाद तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कोई भी फुलफिल हो ही नहीं सकती. A twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. Now here, सीक्रेसी एंड रिबेलियन में छुपा भी रहना होता था हमें, और हमें विद्रोह भी करना होता था. ओके, सो I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family. Initially, I did not choose my people above my family. मैंने अपने लोगों को अपनी फैमिली से ज़्यादा तवज्जो नहीं दी थी शुरू में. But in attempting to serve my people, लेकिन इस कोशिश में to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, brother and a father and a husband. जब मैं अपने लोगों के लिए अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी पूरी करा था, then I found that I was not able to fulfill the responsibility of a son, a brother, a father and a husband. I was not born with a hunger to be free. Actually, I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free. Now, this is the thing, that I was born free, because at that time I was not aware about the definition of freedom. Free in every way that I could know. Free in every way. What a child can know about the freedom. Okay, so whatever he knew, he was free. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut. Free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village. उस नदी या नाले में मैं तैरने के लिए स्वतंत्र था, फ्री था, जो मेरे गांव से होके गुजरता था. Free to roast millies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving birds. और मैं वो भुट्टियाँ और बालियाँ तारों की छाँव नीचे, मीन्स नाइट कोन को भून के खाने के लिए फ्री था. एंड I was free to ride those slow moving bulls. और मैं उन बैलों की सवारी करने के लिए भी फ्री था. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe. और जब तक मैंने अपने फादर को abide by किया, अब मैं whenever up to when I just followed the customs of my tribe, I was free. I was not troubled by the laws of a man or God. And I was not troubled. मुझे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता था कि मैन के या गॉड के क्या रूल्स और रेगुलेशंस हैं. आई वॉज नॉट अवेयर अबाउट द फैक्ट. So, it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. When I learned about the illusion of my boyhood freedom, this was the time when I started to be hungry for freedom. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, कि मेरी आज़ादी मुझसे ले ली गई है. When I as a young man I felt it, that I began to hunger for it. Then I was hungry for it. I became hungry for it. जब मुझे ये पता चला कि मैं तो गुलाम हो गया हूँ, मेरी आज़ादी मुझसे ले ली गई है, then I started to demand for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedom. Okay, this question can come many times, that what was the meaning of freedom for Mr. Mandela when he was a student, when he was a young man, or when he was a child. So all these things are given here. When he was a child, what was the meaning of freedom for him? When he became young, what was the meaning of freedom for him? And when he was a student, what was the meaning of freedom for him? I wanted freedom only for myself. When he was a student, उसे सिर्फ अपने लिए आज़ादी चाहिए थी. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night. Being a child, being a student, उसे कितनी आज़ादी चाहिए थी? सिर्फ कि वो रात को बाहर रुक सके, इतनी सी उसे freedom चाहिए थी. And read what I pleased and go where I chose. वो जो चाहे वो पढ़ सकता था और जहाँ चाहे वो जा सकता था, बस उसे इतनी फ्रीडम चाहिए थी. Only that freedom was required as a student. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential. Now, when he was a young man, he wanted his basic and honorable freedoms. Basic freedom and honorable freedom. Basic freedom means basic human rights. If you are a citizen of any of the country, then you must have some basic rights. This is basic freedom, that wherever you want to go, you can go. Whatever you want to eat, you can eat. Whatever God you want to worship, you can worship. This is the basic freedom. And the honorable freedom means you can earn your livelihood according to your potential. And both the freedoms, now the definition of both the freedoms were very clear before Mr. Mandela, and he wanted to achieve those freedoms. Now, earning my keep or marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in lawful life. And what did he want? That I could marry whomever he wanted, and nobody had to obstruct his lawful life. Means एक lawful life ऐसी हो कि जहाँ पे कोई भी obstruction create ना करे. Okay, but then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, then he noticed that not only I was not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. Means his complete community was not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone. Then he noticed that it was not he only whose freedom was curtailed. In fact, it was all his community. The freedom of whole community was curtailed. Who looked like I did. Means सारे के सारे ब्लैक पीपल की फ्रीडम को उन्होंने कर्टेल कर रखा है, रिड्यूस कर रखा है, उनकी फ्रीडम को स्नैच करके रखा हुआ है. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater for the freedom of my people. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and respect that animated my life. Now, at this time, when he realized that his freedom was not given and his community, the whole community was slave, then he started to be hungry for it. And it was this, animated. Here is a word, animated. What do you mean by animated? Like you have seen the cartoons को देखते हो तो उसको कौन एनिमेट करता है? हम लोग एनिमेट करते हैं. जैसे हम बोलना चाहते हैं वो लोग ऐसे एक्शन करते हैं, जैसे हम बोलना चाहते हैं वैसे वो बोलते हैं. सो दिस वॉज द डिज़ायर ऑफ फॉर द फ्रीडम. ये जो डिज़ायर फॉर द फ्रीडम है, इसने मेरी लाइफ को, मीन्स मिस्टर मंडेलाज लाइफ वॉज एनिमेटेड बाय द desire of freedom for his people and to live their lives with self-respect and dignity. Okay, here dignity means a quality of being worthy. Okay, so here that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. Now see what are the changes now Mr. Mandela had gotten himself. That when initially when he was hungry for his freedom, or he was not hungry for the freedom, he was a fearful person. But when he was hungry for the freedom, he became a fearless one. That drop means what was a factor which changed him? It was the desire for the freedom of his people that changed him completely. That drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. Attorney means one who is legally appointed to transact business on another's behalf. So he was doing the things on another's behalf, means on supremacy, on behalf of supremacy, white supremacy. But now he was a law abiding person, but he became a criminal. Okay, he just refused to abide by the laws and all. That turned a family loving husband into a man without a home. ऐसा हस्बैंड जो अपनी फैमिली बहुत लव करता था, ही वॉज टर्न्ड इनटू अ मैन हु हैड नो होम. दैट फोर्स्ड अ लाइफ लविंग मैन टू लिव लाइक अ मॉन्क. अब एक जो पर्सन अपनी लाइफ से ज़्यादा लव करता था, ही हैड बीन टर्न्ड इनटू अ मॉन्क. एक भिक्षु हैव यू सीन बौद्ध मॉन्क्स? ओके, उन्हें अपनी लाइफ से, उन्हें संसारिक चीज़ों से कोई मोह नहीं होता, कोई प्यार नहीं होता. सो like those monks, he was turned. I'm no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedom I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Freedom is invisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. Now this is the complete definition, that how he described the things that अगर मेरी कम्युनिटी में से किसी एक बंदे को भी स्लेवरी अगर भुगतनी पड़ रही है, एक्सपीरियंस करनी पड़ रही है, इट मीन्स माई कंप्लीट कम्युनिटी इज enslaved. And if my community is enslaved, how can I be free? I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Now see here two terms have been given. One is oppressor and one is oppressed. Oppressor, white supremacy. Okay, they were white people who were oppressors, जो लोगों को दबा रहे हैं. These are oppressors. And oppressed, these black people were oppressed. a man, now they are not liberated, they both are prisoners. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. And हियर बहुत ब्यूटीफुल लाइन कही गई है, ये बहुत ब्यूटीफुल लाइन है। एक आदमी जो दूसरे आदमी की फ्रीडम को छीनता है वो किस चीज़ का कैदी है, वो नफरत का कैदी है। ही इज़ अ प्रिजनर ऑफ हेट्रेड। ही इज लॉक्ड बिहाइंड द बार्स ऑफ प्रेजुडिस एंड narrow-mindedness. So prejudice means a strong dislike without any good reason. ऐसा आदमी किस चीज़ का गुलाम होता है? ही इज़ बिहाइंड द बार्स ऑफ प्रेजुडिस, स्ट्रॉन्ग डिसलाइकिंग के बार्स के पीछे वो बंद है, और नैरो माइंडेडनेस के नीचे। ही इज़ नॉट रेडी टू सी द वर्ल्ड, ही इज़ नॉट रेडी टू जस्ट ओपन अप हिज माइंड। आई एम नॉट ट्रूली फ्री इफ I am taking away someone else's freedom. Okay, now he is just telling you, अगर मैं किसी दूसरे की फ्रीडम लेता हूँ, छीन लेता हूँ, तो क्या आपको क्या लगता है देख मैं फ्री हूँ? नो, आई एम ऑल्सो नॉट फ्री बिकॉज आई एम ऑल्सो अ प्रिजनर ऑफ हेट्रेड. सो just as surely I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. एक बंदा जिसकी फ्रीडम ले ली जाती है वो जैसे फ्री नहीं है, वैसे ही वो बंदा भी फ्री नहीं है जिसने किसी की फ्रीडम छीन ली है, क्योंकि जिस फ्रीडम छीनने वाला बंदा तो जो है वो नफरत की दीवारों के पीछे कैद हो जाता है. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. और जो oppressor है और oppressed है दोनों की ही humanity rob हो जाती है. They both are far far away from humanity. And with it the chapter is done. Thank you. Have a nice day.